All right, guys, got some breaking news here for you, or a bunch of pieces of breaking news here. So it was an eventful day. Of course, the market continued to absolutely implode. Um, but at some point, I want to say it was in the afternoon, Trump went on Truth Social and shared a video, which basically, not basically, it outright validated that he's crashing the market on purpose. I'm not kidding. There's a TikTok video that has this goofy, 7D chess move in it where they claim that that's what Trump is doing. But one of the things said in the video is that Trump is crashing the stock market on purpose. And he shared it. So all the theories that we had of like, hey, I think he might actually be doing it on purpose. Like, he doesn't give a fuck that, Jesus, Lord only knows how many people are going to lose jobs over this. I mean, this is going to ruin so many people. Prices are going to skyrocket as a result of his tariffs. But, we had speculated that he's doing it on purpose. He doesn't care about the fallout. He's certainly not acting like he cares about the fallout. He was just golfing in Mar-a-Lago again at a live golf event. And so now we know he indeed did crash the economy on purpose. This is something that, if some resistance liberal were to say this in 2017, everybody would roll their eyes and be like, you have Trump derangement syndrome. There's no way that an American president would crash the stock market on purpose. You sound insane. Well, he validated that. Don't take my word for it. Do yourself a favor. Go look it up. Type it into Google, click on the news section, and go see for yourself. Or just go to his Truth Social page and watch the video. I mean, it is just astonishing. So now we also have, and this just happened, maybe a few hours ago here. Trump went on Truth Social and said the following. These Houthis gathered for instructions on an attack. Oops, there will be no attack by these Houthis. They will never sink our ships again. And then he shares a video, a 25-second long video, that's shot from a drone in black and white. And you see on the ground a bunch of people standing in a circle. And then you see all of those people get murdered with a massive bombing. Well, come to find out, that was a religious tribal gathering of Yemenis celebrating Eid. I mean, this is just Nazi shit at this point. This is just Nazi shit. And of course, the other angle to it is, why do you think he's tweeting a video like this right now? Why do you think he's doing it? I mean, it's pretty simple. He's trying to deflect from all of the negative coverage and negative talk about the stock market imploding. And so he's like, hey, look at these war crimes. But it's okay because I'm a big, strong man. And actually, they were about to attack us, even though they absolutely weren't. And it was a religious tribal gathering. Jesus Christ, man. Guys, again, I'm giving you breaking news here. This is one day's worth of news. Any one of these things is should be impeachment worthy, should end a presidency. But I got another one for you. Ready? So, a federal judge came out earlier today in one of the, probably over 100 cases now that Trump is facing. Federal judge came out and ordered that the U.S. has to return the Maryland man that they admitted they mistakenly deported to the El Salvador slave labor gulag. So this guy in particular was the one that J.D. Vance was lying about the other day when he said he was a convicted MS-13 gang member. That's not remotely true. This guy has zero criminal record in any country. He takes care of multiple special needs kids. Okay, so the judge comes out and says that, which, great. The judges are doing their jobs and saying the right things in virtually every case that's gotten in front of them about Trump. Ready for this? So the White House press secretary comes out and says the following, quote, we suggest the judge contact President Bukele of El Salvador because we are unaware of the judge having jurisdiction or authority over the country of El Salvador. So in other words, that's the White House press secretary going, LOL, fuck off. I know you just directly ordered us to free the innocent man we sent to a foreign gulag, but we're not going to do that, and we're going to make fun of you as we slap down your court order. This is where, the correct course of action is for the judge to say, I'm holding you in contempt of court, right? And this would be something where if this was anybody else, if this was anybody else in the country, they would be in contempt of court and they would be fucking arrested, right? Like, that's the proper course of action. When you look at the law, when you look at checks and balances, when you look at judicial review, that is what happens next. Because the last time they violated a court order, they tried to give some cover story, some bullshit cover story. It was not true. They were still violating a court order, but they had the intelligence to say, no, we're not actually violating it. The reason why we're saying your court order doesn't apply is because the plane was already in the air over international waters, so we're declaring that you don't really have authority to do it since it's not within the borders of the United States. It's a bullshit argument, but an argument nonetheless, where they're trying to pretend like we're not actually violating any court order, right? This time, this is confirmation, this is validation, that they're saying, yes, we are violating the court order. And in fact, we're mocking you in the process. So, like I said, contempt of court is the next move. And somebody's got to get arrested for this. Somebody's got to get locked up for it. Because what is this judge supposed to do now? I genuinely don't know. Like, the other thing is, let's be clear, we already have probably at least 20 or 30 impeachable offenses from this administration. But at this point, I don't see how you can't try to impeach, right? Because when it's this open and shut a case, when it's this black and white, how do you not make a big stink about it, scream about it from the rooftops through a megaphone, and throw the fucking kitchen sink at the administration over this? Because either we have rule of law or we don't, right? And in this moment, it's like, what are you going to do? Are you going to lay in a chalk outline of yourself and just basically let the fascists roll all over us? Or are you going to make a stand for democracy and make a stand for the Constitution and make a stand for rule of law? So I've never seen anything like this. And I don't know where we go from here, right? Because if I'm being honest, I don't know if the judge has it in them to be like, yeah, contempt of court and somebody's got to get locked up. By the way, who would get locked up? I don't know. Would it be the person who's in charge of the deportations, who sent the wrong person out? Would it be Stephen Miller? Would it be the White House press secretary, who was the one who was basically gleefully announcing that, they're violating the court order? Would it be Trump himself, right? What do you do when the president is held in contempt of court, right? The other thing is, if I were the judge, one of the other things I would do is I would actually try to get in contact with Bukele. And I would say, yeah, I'm ordering you to release this guy. Send him back. I don't care if the administration agrees or not. This is the law. You need to send this person back. And just see what happens, right? We're in uncharted territory anyway. This is uncharted waters. We've never been here before. You got to try shit. And I guess in conclusion, the point I'd make is, man, it really is the Steve Bannon strategy of like flood the zone, do 100 horrible things a day, and hope that the media and the opposition can't catch on to any of them, or they can only focus on one of them. And I mean, look, it worked. It has worked so far. They do that, and the Democrats are playing catch up, barely talking about these things, right? And I really need, from the bottom of my heart, I hope this message gets out to some Democratic politicians. I really need you to fucking man up. I really need you to man up. I really need you to grow a spine. I really need you to treat every one of these scandals like the world is on fire, because it is. Because frankly, it is. We can't have a situation where the president, casually after his round of golf, as he's crashing the economy, is committing war crimes and bragging about it. We can't have a situation where he validates the notion, yes, I crashed the stock market on purpose. You can't have a situation where they're not only violating court orders, but like being arrogant about it at the same time. Knowing like, hey, you're not going to do shit to stop me. I'm going to do whatever the fuck I want. If you just sit back and do nothing, then yes, they're going to take away from that. We can do whatever we want. And it's going to make them feel more emboldened. And they're going to go further and further. And remember, guys, if they could do this to this random guy, right? This father of special needs kids who doesn't have a criminal record, and they admitted, yeah, we did that in error. This was an administrative error that we sent this guy. If they can take this guy and send him to an El Salvador slave labor gulag, they could literally do it to any one of us. Because if there is no due process, there is no due process. They'll just make up some bullshit. Yeah, I rounded this person up. I sent them to the gulag. And I don't care if the court says release him. We're not doing that because now it's El Salvador's problem. And they never have to prove anything. They don't have to prove you committed a crime. They don't have to prove, you're here in an undocumented sense. They don't have to prove anything because they'll just declare, oh, this person was, I don't know, leading protests at a Tesla and they vandalized cars. Even if you didn't, there's no way for you to prove that, right? So the Constitution is gone. It is done. There is no due process. We are functionally back in pre-Magna Carta days right now. And so for the love of God, I'm begging somebody, anybody out there, I don't care who, stand the fuck up. Do something about this. This judge needs to hold them in contempt of court. Somebody's got to get arrested. And the Democrats should immediately start impeachment proceedings. They should absolutely do it. And you might say, well, Kyle, look, that's not going to get anywhere because MAGA is so intransigent and they're going to side with Trump no matter what. And you know what? You're right about that. I don't fucking care. We need to get on the record right now for history's sake and say, we are against every single one of these things that they're doing, and everybody's going to know that from now until the end of time. So when you look in the history book, you know these are the good guys and these are the bad guys, and they tried everything they could under the sun to stop this from fucking happening, right? That's what I want the history books to show about us, is that we did not lay in a chalk outline of ourselves. We said, we're going to fight this every step of the way. And so get on that ASAP. Again, he just admitted I crashed the economy on purpose and then committed a war crime and then violated a court order and fucking bragged about it. If this doesn't wake you up, bro, nothing's going to wake you up.